Hello party people, today we're looking at Tavern Keeper, an early access game about, well, running your own tavern. Is it worth getting in early access or should you wait a little bit? Let's check it out and see. If you're only here for the negatives and flaming me in the comments, there's a chapter only for the negatives, so you can check that out. Okay, for now we have 3 scenarios and free play available in early access. Let's look at the scenarios first. Starting out, we're thrown into a muddy place of river bottom, which serves mostly as a tutorial for how everything works. You're introduced to both how to actually build your tavern and the storybook events from the narrator, who can be very amusing at times. He reads all of the storybooks and is trying very hard to voice act every storybook character.
The mayor's office put together a wee gift basket to welcome you to the neighborhood.
You're introduced to those right away in the first scenario, and it's basically a little story with your input and it resolves according to your choices. You can also roll a wheel sometimes, and if you're unhappy with the roll you can re-roll, but if the wheel crystal breaks you'll get a chaos event, so use that sparingly. Speaking of chaos, subscribe to my channel and you'll be seeing it every single week. You are also shown on how to hire and manage your staff, which is very important in the scenario number 2. Still, don't rush the first one and try to learn all of the basic mechanics before tackling more of the game. It will serve you well, believe me. There is different tiers of customers in each tavern. For example, halflings have tier 1 and tier 2 and they like different kinds of things. So when you buy drinks and make food, be sure to check what everyone likes and again maximize the profits. Of course, elves and humans like different things than halflings. Not everyone will eat skewered rats, only poor people. Peasants, am I right? After some bureaucracy, you can go to the town of halflings for your second scenario, where you'll have to put your knowledge to a test. You do get a bigger kitchen too, and you'll have to juggle much more than before, although the tavern is already slightly built, so there's that. In this one you should really get used to using your schedule. If you don't, your tavern will soon descend into chaos. You'll have to juggle a lot too, not just your patrons, but also the happiness of your staff. Their needs might clash with other staff members. For example, some people are afraid of the dark, and even the staff room needs to have light in it, even when they're sleeping, while others will hate the light, and it's not the best of ideas to put them together. Others might only be happy working at night. This is where the game will teach you that if you plan good enough, you can have the tavern open 24/7 for maximum profit. Don't forget to look at your stock too, because you wouldn't want to run out of a stew in the prime time. You can also provide entertainment with performance to bolster your rating a bit more, and if everything else fails, lower the prices or bribe your patrons and staff with gold. It works every single time. There is one part here which made me almost lose my mind, more on that in the negatives section. And so we're on to the next scenario, which is the Orc Town. Here you'll learn about bugs and infestations, and you'll experiment and brew your own drinks, working with a orc scientist. Each scenario has a different climate and events, and they're pretty fun. Of course, the story isn't finished yet, so at the end of scenario number 3, all that's left is the free play, which you want to try out if for nothing else than to try out the inn part of the Tavern Keeper, where you will build bedrooms for your patrons to stay in, and that's pretty fun. You are still a bit limited by the max star rating you can achieve, but running an inn is very fun, especially when you get your first guests, which will overnight at your cozy little place. You can also fulfill group requests, although due to the reasons listed in negatives, those will fail sometimes, but not by your own doing. There's a magical board which lets you see in the future, so you can prepare for those, but still the group won't be fully satisfied sometimes. Oh, and maybe don't place a hearth opposite of a wooden table. It might just catch on fire and your staff will have to put the fire out. It's not good for business. There's also events which are either bad or good, can also be very good or very bad. I had a tornado tear one room apart once and I was not happy about it. Those are random, so you cannot really prepare for them. Although for some of them you can slightly prepare because there are notes in the upper right corner, embers, for example, will spawn these little nice looking embers, but everything can catch on fire, so you have to be careful. Prepare accordingly and have some firefighting gear ready, just in case. I have played free play a lot, and when you know all of the mechanics, you should really go for it and play at your own pace. You can also set custom difficulty both in free play and scenarios, so if you find the game too easy or too hard, you can give yourself as much challenge as you want to. Overall, I did like both scenarios and free play a lot, with the exception of some moments, especially one which felt way too frantic, and even with all of the scheduling mastery, that section is still a bit too much. Last but certainly not least, it's the design mode, which I really like. Here's my little table I made, and you can download other people's designs into your own game and use it. Of course, you too can put the design online and other people can download your masteries. Design mode offers a lot of customization, and you can really make your tavern look unique just by creating your own tables, decorations and more. The only thing is, while there is a lot of objects for you to use, it's also not enough at the same time. But this is early access, so there will probably be more, so that's not a negative in my book. Also, sometimes the placing of the objects can be a pain and will not work. I would also like a round cloth for the table and not be forced to use the rugs instead of it. But that will come later on, I am sure. Not everything is great though, we have to look at the negatives next. Alright, here we go. The first and by far the biggest one is the AI of your staff. I really hope this gets fixed, because sometimes they will run around a lot and not do things they're supposed to do. I had a night janitor with a closed tavern and he failed miserably at sweeping the floors. He didn't fail to play with his yo-yo though. There's a lot of times when your staff will not do what you tell them to. You can micromanage them to some degree, but even then they will not listen to you sometimes. This is why some groups will fail, because your servers will bring drinks to 3 of them and ignore the 4th one, even though you have priority set on that group. This isn't a game-breaking problem by any means, but I really hope that gets fixed, because it does become a bit annoying, which ties in with the second negative. The Harvest Festival. My god, what a chaotic and frantic section of the game. See, in the Harvest Festival you gather points by satisfying group requests and thwarting the other guilds, but the competition is far from fair, which I do get for the Thieves Guild, but your opponents will gain massive amounts of points out of nowhere, and even if you're ahead of them, they can and will get points out of nowhere and leap ahead of you. I barely got the achievement because either I didn't get groups on the last day, being a point behind, or out of nowhere the other groups gained points in the last hour and beat me. This is a bit overtuned, and the only way to repeat it is by loading the game, so you have to play through it over and over again if you want the achievement, or maybe you'll get lucky in your first try. And one small gripe I have, I've built a bedroom and then put a wall to separate the room into 2 smaller rooms. For some reason the wall did not count as a separation, and my lodging was rated 1 star instead of 2 because I had more than 5 beds, even though there was a wall there. Oh well. Those are of course not game-breaking negatives, but still I have to be fair and point those out even if I like the game.
There's an upcoming event that we should keep an eye on.
Let's check music and sound real quick. I really like the soundtrack of the game. It's sometimes funny, sometimes cozy, sometimes a little chaotic. I especially like the orcs and halflings sing along to the soundtrack. It's great. Take a listen. The music does add to the atmosphere, which is both cozy and chaotic. The soundtrack will get stuck in your head too. I caught myself whistling the main theme while driving a car once. Sound is good too, the patrons and staff have this mumbly talk, and the narrator is pretty great too, especially while reading the storybooks and voice acting what's happening. Overall pretty good, no negatives here. So, is Tavern Keeper worth buying now, or should you wait a bit? The game is good, no doubt about it, and I'd say it realistically offers about 15 to 20 hours of gameplay before you finish everything. If you rush, you can be done even faster, but if you like this kind of sim games, it's worth checking this one out. There's a certain charm to Tavern Keeper and the chaos is controlled for the most time. Storybook events add some flavor to the game, and honestly juggling everything around can get pretty deep, and even with currently limited inventory of foods and drinks, you will get a challenge if you want it. And if you don't, you can and should go for custom difficulty and still enjoy the game. There is of course a question of price. The game currently costs $22.50 and I did see some people saying it's a bit too much. While $22.50 is not the lowest of prices, I still think Tavern Keeper is priced fairly, especially considering we're getting at least 3 more scenarios and places to be, a lot more stories, and I imagine a lot more meals, brews and decorations. Tavern Keeper is a really good sim and it does deserve a buy now seal of approval. That's it for this video. Comment, like, subscribe and join my Discord. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!